Okay, so let's talk about and review Big Helmet Heroes. We played for a couple of hours, and I think I've actually seen enough. So basically, I want to answer the question, is it worth playing? Who should be playing this? What are the pros and cons? So first of all, what kind of game is this, if you don't know? This is a beat 'em up. Basically, you're running left to right primarily on a plane that's a 3D environment, top-down-ish view. Think of it really similar to Castle Crashers. With that being said, does it compare to Castle Crashers? If you super love that game and you want more, this kind of can be a good fun afternoon to play with friends. I don't recommend this playing on your own because it gets a little annoying. And there's no like meta progression. Not that they advertise it, and they never advertise any of that, so don't go in expecting that. But playing this, looking at how cool the maps are, the fun animations and the weapons, you kind of just feel like, damn, I wish this just was Castle Crashers with all the fun bosses and all of the progression and all the the little quirkiness. Okay, so let's talk about this game. Basically, it's just level to level. You can play easy, normal, hard. From what I can tell, I played mostly hard, and I think it's just like less health. Enemies do more damage, or maybe they have more health. I can't really tell. It doesn't tell you. But yeah, basically, you're gonna go through stages and just beat the crap out of enemies. And sometimes at the end there's a boss. Sometimes at the end there is a survival wave, and sometimes it just ends, and that's pretty much it. So the big thing this game has going for it are the graphics and the animations and the environments. It's very well like lit. You can see what's going on most of the time. It's good shadows. It's like, it just looks cool. There's a ton of crazy environments like gladiator arenas, pirate ships. You got your old like grass field, etc. So yeah, that's like the best part about it. The characters that you can choose from at the beginning of the game are different types of archetypes. You have like a swordsman, you have a rogue character, a brute, and a monk. And the game is called Big Helmet Heroes, plural, because you will be unlocking and playing new characters. Now, how different are they? Not much. There's only 4 types of characters, like I said. So basically, once you unlock one rogue type that has dual daggers, you find another one, they play the exact same, with the only difference being their ultimate, which is kind of like your rage bar. You fill it up by getting consumables or just by attacking enemies, right? So you do it, and then some of them are just better than others. Some have a tornado that you can run around and just be invincible and attack. Others have like a giant ray, but then others are kind of weird, like, oh, it's a quick sandstorm that kills every minion on the screen. But I feel like you kind of want to save your ultimates for like big damaging for like just like multiple waves, not just one gigantic wave. But yeah, that's the thingy. You go through, and you can bring 2 characters with you in every... I don't know how it works with multiplayer. Maybe you can have more. But basically, if you're playing solo, you switch between 2 characters, and they heal once you attack with the other one. So basically, you swap out to heal them, etc. So that's pretty much how that goes. You have your basic swing. Depending on your character, it's fast or slow. Like you have a slow, and then you have a strong attack. You can charge up the strong attack. You have a jump attack. So you have a sprint. You have a dodge roll. Some characters, like the brute, he actually does a charge forward, which is a little different, which is nice. You have the double jump, as I mentioned. You can pick things up. Pick enemies up, small ones, throw them at each other. You can throw them on chasms. But the most cool things you can pick up is actually weapons. There's lots of different ones, from projectile weapons to melee weapons. You have like crossbows. You have like electric gigantic launchers. You have fly swatters. You have like a little princess wand you can attack with. It's actually pretty interesting, the type of weapons, and I highly recommend you use those weapons to actually go through the game and fight, because I don't know how it is on medium, but I played on hard for the most part, and basically they're really tanky. So I highly recommend you use the weapons as much as you can, even if it's just like one quick throwing one, because that's what it is. But basically, that's the game. It's just a beat 'em up. You go through, and it's just the same thing over and over again, just with the different environments. It sometimes slightly changes it up, like, oh, now it's a little soccer game. First one to get 3 goals is fine. Oh, it's a little sliding area. You go up and down, and you have to jump to get the to get a secret over here. Maybe it's a first-person shooter. You're shooting off a boat. That type of deal. So there is moments where it does shine, and it's the variety of gameplay. That's when it's awesome. However, there's a lot of in between where it kind of slogs, and I'll go ahead and explain. So the first couple of stages in the game, you actually are, have a really nice tutorial. It teaches you a lot of stuff, and then you have like these waves and then a boss fight. And then the next stage, you go through some waves again. It's a boss fight. It's really cool. But then the next couple of stages after that, you go through this environment. But then at the end, it's just a wave. Oh, survive 1 to 5 waves, and then it's a slog. You just fight. It's literally nothing crazy different from what you've been doing the whole game, which is going through stages to fight, except now you're doing it with the text that says wave on the screen. It feels like a cop-out. Like every single stage should have a variation of like a boss, or maybe you can have all of those cool variety moments be the big part of the end stages. Because I'll be honest, there's a lot of times in the game where you have zero incentive to fight and you just want to get to the end because the game is just high score based, and maybe every once in a while you would go off the path to find new characters to unlock. But once again, those characters they're hardly hardly crazy. Like this is 4 different types. But yeah, it's so crazy how many times I just ran through the stage because it's like, I don't want to fight this, I just want to get to the next area, because you're just gonna make me fight the same guys over and over again once you get over there. So that's a huge thing. It's like you have these really awesome levels, but then they made it so you can just skip through like 70% of them. And I don't know why they did that. And then at the end, they give you waves of enemies to fight. What they should have done, and really good beat 'em up games do this, is where you go through the stage and then they stagger you and make you fight between the stages. And you do that because you get to see the stage. Maybe there's some hazards in the specific area, jumping puzzles, etc. But for the most part, you're just like, I don't want to fight these. What do I want the high score for? It's not like they're giving me meta upgrades. I'm not leveling up my character. I'm just getting hurt. Who cares? I'm gonna run around and then just go from there. So that's like a big, like, why do they do that? Why do they do it that way? Just have you stagger through the whole thing instead of, one chunk, fight a bunch, skip through chunk, fight a bunch, skip through chunk, fight a bunch. And sometimes that's okay in games like Cuphead, where the huge, goal towards when you get to the end, it's gigantic boss fights, which are cool and memorable. Here, not much. There really isn't a lot of fights, boss fights, compared to just when stages completely end, which is kind of whatever. Another thing in the game is I had big bug issues that had me stopping the game for like 30 minutes trying to figure out what the hell happened. So basically, I don't know if anyone's gonna find this issue, but I'm gonna talk about it just in case they do. So I'm playing on Steam PC. I'm not sure if it'll pop up on Switch or anything like that. But basically, once I got through a stage, it would freeze and nothing would happen. Your character would just stand there. It would go into like a widescreen mode, so you can see like the borders, like a cutscene was going to play. Sometimes you would hear something in the background, so you can kind of tell something's playing, but then nothing would happen. I would press everything, and then I had to restart the game. I thought I had to uninstall it and reinstall it. This is launch day, so maybe they have a patch later if you're watching this later. But yeah, I had to like reinstall the game, and then I went back in and I didn't know what happened. It didn't fix it again, so I was like, okay, maybe I'll try a new game. Didn't fix it. Maybe I'll try harder difficulty. Didn't fix it. So basically what I did was I went on my keyboard and I pressed escape. It freezes and you have to press escape on your keyboard. Now, if this happens on a console, I don't know what you can do about that, but I have a suspicion it's probably PC, and hopefully that's just a PC issue. But yeah, it's just like, you're missing like a million cutscenes, and sometimes it wouldn't freeze my character, and I'm able to move when the cutscene is supposed to happen, and then I would run off the map because I think it would keep going, but then no, it would just end there. I would fall through endlessly through the map, and then after a minute or so, it would fade out, and then the stage would end. You can replay stages over and over again because it tells you if you missed any unlocks, which is kind of nice. But basically, it's not fun. It really isn't fun, I think, in my opinion. At least playing single player. I think the audience who should be playing this are people who want to play co-op. Don't recommend the single player at all, because it's just a whatever beat 'em up. But if you play with friends, it's always going to be good. And there's so much like character variety. I say variety. It's just like, oh, I like this character because their ultimate's like that or this. There's enough enemies on screen. There's a lot of pickups to go around. A lot of like, oh my god, I'm dodging. You attack them for me, etc. There's a lot of those moments where multiplayer will shine here 100%. So if you like what you see, You want more, you know, you want a fun beat 'em up, because the game once again looks good. It's just a super slog of a game in most of the portions, and I just run through it until you get to the fights. That's what I have to say about that. But anyways, it's okay. I had some other bugs, like maybe music, you know, sound completely cutting off. Frame rates would completely drop starting of stages. I guess it's just loading and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was gonna be a little fun romp for a while. It was, but then the more you play it, the more of like the same issues just keep popping up over and over again, and I'm just like, I don't want to go through all this stuff. So once again, I recommend it not solo, get it co-op, and go in not expecting Castle Crashers, but just a beat 'em up arcade that you don't need to invest a lot of time in, maybe a full afternoon, and just know it's all about just running through environments and just beating things up for the hell of beating things up and getting a high score. You're not really doing any many progressions there, and it's not that important to unlock all the characters because they don't really play any different other than their ultimates. So that's it, guys. Let me know what you guys think of Big Helmet Heroes. If you guys want to see my playthrough of what I did, link in the description to my Let's Play channel, Mabivsgames 2, and come by Twitch where I live streamed it all. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.